Ah, hey, here I am. How about that? Don't ask me quite how I managed that, but I'm here. I actually shifted location from my man cave downstairs to up here in the kitchen. So I'll just plug you into the mains there so we don't die. And here we are. Better late than never. Yeah, I don't understand these computers, I'll tell you. Oh, excuse me. All right, hey, well, welcome everybody. The Dude, good to have you along. First in, as usual. Danny Boyd, Grandad's Junk. Josh Homan, good to have you all here. What's been happening? Tech bits and pieces. Yeah, Doug can catch up with Kiwi live again. Yeah, mate, I'm here. What would you like to know? Brad Hudson, hey, good to have you here, man. Beagle Bob, hello. Paul Funk, Roy Miller, hey, hi everybody. Wow, there's quite a few of you already. We're doing well. We're doing well. Well, so another week has absolutely flown by. Not quite sure where it went, but it went nonetheless. Yeah, been busy, but throwing boxes and boxes of parts at that 68 GTO, the white one, and that's kind of coming together quite nicely. Got the brakes pretty much finished off today, and all the front suspension finished off. So yeah, that car's starting to look pretty good. And the owner was in today, and he's talking about putting some aluminum heads on it, and he wants a bit more horsepower to go with the suspension and brakes. And yeah, so he's thinking about dropping another. Well, it's going to be close to $5,000 between cylinder heads, intake manifold, carburetor, headers. Yeah, you get to $5,000 pretty quick. So he's looking at doing that. He's choosing some wheels. We're definitely going with 17s. Unless he changes his mind between this morning and when the wheels arrive. But yeah, so yeah, not too drastically big in the wheels. Just look a little more modern and a little less under-wheeled. Roy Miller, welcome along, sir. Steve Sadusky. Hi, Kiwi. I made it here this week. Work, man. I know the feeling. The Dude, get your official Kiwi merch. Yep. Get on there, get into Shopify and start ordering, guys. Danny Boyd, I wouldn't go larger than 15s on that car if I could help it. Well, the issue with 15s is that you're limited on brake size, and he did want some like nice, big, good brakes, and you've really got to step up to 17s to achieve that. And I'm quite comfortable with the 17s as opposed to 15s because you can still get a fairly high sidewall, fairly tall tyre because you are only going an inch each way, like top and bottom. The 17-inch wheel is not huge. It's not a big wheel. Obviously, it's bigger than 15, but it doesn't, visually to the eye, or at least my eye, it doesn't look like a big wheel. And you can get quite a nice, like a 50 profile tyre on a 17, and you've got still, a little more rolling diameter than the old 15, just a little more, and fills up the wheel arch nicely, and yeah, that lower profile gives you a little bit better handling, and away you go. So I think it's quite a good option, but hey, it's all opinions, guys. Danny, I'm not saying that you're wrong at all. The other thing with 15s too is you're getting a little bit more challenged on tyre options now. The 15s are kind of a dying thing. And they're going to be like trying to get 14s before long. It's really hard to get 14-inch kind of hot roddy tyres these days. Beagle Bob, 17s opens up a ton more tyre choices. Exactly. That is really what it does. The dude, what's a good adhesive to use to reattach the inner structure of a hood to the outer skin? Urethane is probably one of the best. The stuff they use to glue the bonded in windshields in would be the best stuff to use. Pretty readily available, at the parts houses. But yeah, get yourself a cartridge of that, and with urethane too, it's neutral cure. It's not going to cause you any rust issues. Don't be tempted into using RTV or silicon, because that's going to give you problems. But yeah, urethane is a super good adhesive. Steve Sadusky, nice GDO. Thanks for sharing. Hey, thanks for watching. It was a long video, but going through and editing it, I felt like it all needed to be there, even though we only covered the rear suspension, but there was quite a bit to it. And I sped it up, where I could, and sliced bits out where I could, but we still ended up with a 47-minute video. So that's quite a long video for me. Danny Boyd, I need a pair of 235/50 17s on my 2005 Mustang GT. So I'm going to try to get a 255 50 17s. Yeah, that makes sense. For the rear, of course. Yeah. You got more chance of having clearance on the rear than you do at the front. So, that'd be quite a meaty tyre on the back of that car. Alan Trimble, I agree that 17 wheels are about the biggest I want to see on a classic car. Yeah, they're like that Cougar Fastback that I had in, he went with 18s and 20s. And the 18s were okay. The 20s were just a bit too big. It started to look a little like a roller skate. And you also run into quite a lot of difficulties trying to get the ride height down, because the center line of your axle goes up every time you increase the diameter of the wheel. So as your axle goes higher, obviously the car goes higher, and then it's that much more of a challenge to get the height of the car body back down. And get the chassis rail over the rear axle, because the rear axles, on that Cougar was probably a good 3 inches higher. The center line of the axle was would have been a good 3, maybe going on 4 inches higher than the stock setup. So, that puts it all that much closer to the chassis rails. That was not a low car. Danny Boyd, only 2 centimeters wider. Yeah. Well, that 255, 235, that all refers to millimeters, which I know is kind of foreign language to a lot of my American viewers. But yeah, it's 2 sizes is not a lot, and 2 centimeters is just barely over 3/4 of an inch. So you're not going a lot wider. Danny Boyd, 1 centimeter on each side, presumably. Yes, definitely. Steve Sadusky, I have original 15-inch rally wheels on my Chevelle, and I'm going to stay with them, but that's my choice. Absolutely, it's your choice, but it's all about the look that you want to go for. And the thing with wheels too is you can chop and change them. Like it's 5 lug nuts, hold them on. Well, okay, 20 altogether, but you know what I mean. You can change it from 15s to 17s to whatever you want to do. The GDO guy wants it quite a lot lower than stock. He's not about it looking stock. And he wants what he wants, and he's writing a couple of fairly big checks, so he gets to choose, and he's not wrong. It's what he likes. And yeah, Danny, my boy, you're absolutely right on your call. And Steve, Steve, I should say. Sorry, you're right on your call to keep the 15s on the Chevelle. Granddad's junk. I must apologise for such a shaky video on head porting. Resembles a filming session during an earthquake. Oh dear, mate! I still haven't got over and looked at yours. Man, I can't believe how fast the time is going at the moment. Yeah, like it's the morning will be middle of the week, and I've got I am certainly not halfway through my week's work. Yeah, everything's taking a little bit longer, and a few more visitors, a few more phone calls, and before you know it, it's 5:30, and it goes quick. Alan Trimble, the metric system was taught in the USA in the 70s and 80s. I don't know why so many of my fellow Americans struggle with it. Maybe they were the stoners in the back of the class. I don't know. A lot of the kind of guys, 70s and 80s, that's probably the people I'm thinking of were probably in school in the 70s and 80s. And I get so much, I hear just such a lot of hate for the metric system. And they just say they can't understand it, they can't wrap their head around it. And my standard answer is, can you count to 10? And obviously everybody goes yes. It's like, well, if you can count to 10 and you can grasp going 8, 9, 10, 11, and you start over, because counting to 10 is that 10 factor in the counting. That's how our numbers system work. And that's, if you can figure that out, which we all can, then you can do metric, because everything in metric is done in tens. Like you ask someone what's half of 100, and they go 50. That's easy, all right? Or half of 10, it's 5. And that's how the metric system works. There's it's all done in tens. There's 1,000 meters in a kilometer, and half of a kilometer is 500. 3/4 is 750. It's actually really round, simple numbers, and I think that's a lot of that. The fact that it is actually quite simple is why the American military use it. It's all that they're all metric, all the distances, speeds, all that sort of stuff. It's all metric. Now what have we got? Chris Triumph. Canada is having a temper tantrum about your government, so I can't get bourbon, Kiwi. Oh no! So I have to drink rye whiskey. Oh dear. That's a whole political thing, isn't it? It's a mess. And I honestly, here tonight, I don't want to get into politics, whether it's right or wrong or any of that stuff, because I don't think that's why we're here. But Canada is not happy with the American government, and a lot of Canadians are, refusing to buy American products, and again, that's their right, that's their option. But that's tough. You're having trouble getting bourbon at all. Wow. Danny Boyd, I scoff at the metric system, but do appreciate metric sockets. Yeah, all except that 10 mil one, right, that you can never find. Steve Sadusky, I look forward to the end result with that GDO. Maybe you could add Kev to the mix. Yes. No, I've got to wake his very long slumber off the shelf at the back of the workshop and put him to work. Granddad's junk, there's just so much going on here, your time just flies. The 30 Plymouth is in the background. Yeah, I've got a couple of cars like that, mate, so I know how you feel. Danny Boyd, metric is more immediately intuitive. You have to know math. And think to use SAE with its fractions. Well, yeah. I mean, it's like, what's half of 54/64? It's hard. Fractions and all that stuff, and that's why when they go into thousandths of an inch, which is how all machining is done, is by thousandths of an inch. That's effectively metric. Okay, it's thousandths of an inch, but it's still breaking it down into tens, grouping of numbers in tens. Yeah, that's a hard one to convince me that the standard or the American system is easier than metric. Yeah, um, I struggle to agree on that one with anybody. I'm not saying you guys are disagreeing, but yeah, I've had a lot of people through the shop that go, "Oh my god," Chris Triumph, Whitworth rules. Oh, okay, obviously you're quite a disturbed gentleman if you really believe Whitworth rules. Whitworth is just the weirdest. That is seriously weird. Beagle Bob, metric is great on paper, but I can't imagine saying the wheelbase of a car is 4.3 meters. Yeah, it's funny. We stick to some old, like people's height is a sticky point. As much as I like metric, I have never referred to someone's height as how many meters tall they are. 1.93 or 1.81. It's always so many feet, so many inches, and I cannot get past that. And there's a hell of a lot of people like that out there. Like in the metric using countries will still refer to people's height in feet and inches. That's the thing. What have I done? Hang on. Yeah, let's go back up here. I think I missed a couple of comments. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong key. There we go. Brad Hudson, metric is easy to move the zeros around. It sucks on a gauge face though. 300 kPa might be 10 psi. Yeah, like I say, it's funny what you get stuck with. I will always, and it's only because I don't have the capacity to switch to kPas. My tire pressures will always be measured in psi. Always. I don't think I have the capacity to change that thought process. It's funny what you get hooked on. Danny Boyd, 1 litre, 60.5 cubic inches, and 0.1 of a litre, 6.5 cubic inches. There you go. Yeah, it's all in tens. And under a millimetre is microns. Yeah. Beagle Bob, what do Yanks use to measure tolerances instead of thousandths of an inch? No, that's exactly what they use, is thousandths of an inch. And yeah, no, I'm not sure whether it's thousandths of an inch is used worldwide. I'm really not sure. I'm sure it's not in Japan. I'm sure it's all in microns and 0.001 of a millimetre or whatever. Paul Funk, yeah. Oh, hey, Driveway of Misfits. Hey, good to have you along, Chris. Paul Funk, never understood doing a clutch on mid-80s American truck body and chassis. Bolts were sorry, my bad. Truck body and chassis bolts were metric and bell housing bolts were SAE or standard. Yeah, it was. It's no wonder Americans got a bit frustrated with the metric system. When the automotive manufacturers started mix and matching, it's like do one or do the other. Like stay in your lane, whatever denominated lane that is. But yeah, when that frustrates me when I hit that too. That metric and standard is a real pain in the ass. The other weird thing I find with American metric cars is how many bolt head sizes they have. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, like all the way through. It's like they have so many sizes. And that's what I do quite like about the Japanese cars. They go 10, 12, 14, 17, 19. Like they skip. So you've got a lot less head sizes on your bolts because it's actually quite hard to look at a bolt, and visually see. Like if you look at a 9/16 bolt head, you can usually see, and your eye can recognise that that's a 9/16. I need a 9/16 inch for that bolt, or a 1/2 inch, or a 5/8. With a bit of practice, you can pick that up pretty much spot on by eye. But that the difference between 14 and 15 and 16 millimeter, for me at least, that's really hard to pick up. I end up trying 3 and 4 different reaches and getting frustrated, and certain wrenches get airborne and that kind of carry on. So yeah. What else have we got here? Granddad's saying g'day. Danny Boyd joins in, toasting some clean gin into a somewhat unclean glass. Nice. Hey, as long as you're drinking it, mate, that's the main thing. Driveway of Miss 54 128. Oh no, you're giving me a headache. I can't do that. Beagle Bob, weird to use metric with Arabic numerals instead of Roman numerals that are base 10. Okay, I'll take your word for that. I never had to deal with that at all. Jeff hey Kiwi crew, missed the start by 5/8. That's all right. I missed the start by about 3/8, so we're all good. I couldn't get my my live stream to load, but we got there in the end. Granddad's junk, very busy. We are having a beautiful autumn weather concreting today. Just having a break. How about you? Yeah, there you go. Concreting. It's hard work, man. Concreting's hard work. Whoop. Hang on, scroll too far down. Keep doing that. What do we got here? There we are. Unfinished project. Cheers, mate. Driveway of misfits. Still cold here, chomping at the bit to get outside and get to work on my classics. Well, good. It's good that you're chomping at the bit, and then you just got to get out there and tear into it. Beagle Bob, cold here as well. Was 98 today. How is 98 cold? Can't be metric. You'd be dead. Danny Boyd, fewer numbers on the metric HVAC thermostat too. Yeah, well, I suppose there is. Yeah, you don't have to be able to count as high, do you? Driveway of misfit. I know I've walked into a metric versus imperial discussion. Hey, it's all very lighthearted, so it's all good. Charles Dalton, I think the people that struggle with metric are too focused on the conversion factor. It's all well and good to know there's 25.4 millimeters an inch, but focus instead on the measurement instead. Yeah, that's good advice. Brad Hudson, Danny Boyd, I'm an HVAC guy. What do you mean fewer numbers on a metric thermostat? Well, you don't even get into triple digits, I don't think, on a metric thermostat. It wouldn't run up to like 100 Celsius, would it? Or maybe it does. I don't know. Haven't really thought about that. It doesn't go as low either. Chris, try and find 1.9 meters tall. You're a tall guy. That's pretty tall. What's that? 6'3", 6'4", something like that. Granddad's junk Beagle. I've got cars still outside, and my wife just bought a 36 Vauxhall 6-cylinder. Is that a runner, that Vauxhall, Granddad? James Matthew, hello, Chris. 74 degrees in Oregon today. That's a nice temperature. I could deal with 75, 70, that mid 70s most of the time. Not too cold, not too hot. It's just nice. Jeff R, have you looked at hooking the 5-speed to that Hemi? Not yet, no. I'm trying to get this GTO off the rack. I've got to get that off the rack, which that'll be coming off the rack in the morning. It's at a stage where we can put wheels on it. We just can't finish up the brakes because the brakes won't fit inside the 15-inch wheels anymore. So we've got to leave the calipers off and just wheel it slowly outside until the big wheels arrive. But yeah, and then the Hemi Ford, the faux pas. I thought that was quite a good nickname for it, a faux pas. But yeah, that'll be coming in and going up on the rack, and do some measurements, just make confirm what we've got, what we need, and go from there. Steve Sadusky, why is it that the 10mm socket always gets lost? Well, it's one of the most popular sizes, and it's small, so it's easy to lose, All right, how often do you lose that 32mm socket? Nah, you don't. Or the 1.25" socket. You don't lose them. James Matthew, trees are blooming and the darn grass is growing. Yeah, it is. It's starting for sure. Charles Dalton, if there is a thermostat that goes to 100 Celsius, please don't tell my wife. That's funny. She likes it hot too. Mine's a bit like that, mate, too. So I feel your pain. Actually, she's a little bit both ways, shall we say. In that, like in summertime, she likes it cold enough in the house that she needs to put a sweatshirt on. And in the winter, she likes it, like the opposite way around. She likes it so hot that, she's hot with just a singlet on, a wife beater or whatever you want to call them, best. So, yeah, it's, it can be a bit of a challenge at times. Granddad's junk. Oh, yeah, it's very nice, and got a warrant before we collected it. And collected it. It's in Custer, just by Oxford. Okay, not sure what you mean there. It's in Custer, just by Oxford. Don't know. Fran XB, or 6 foot 3.5 is 191.77, or approximately. James, what's your view on classic Porsches? Thanks, James from Toronto, Canada. Well, first of all, welcome along. And classic Porsches are very cool. They're very cool. They were kind of ahead of their time, I think. Back in the day, they were it was kind of cutting edge stuff back in the day. That rear engine, very, very low, very aerodynamic. For a car of its era, they handled very well. Did everything quite well. I think they're very cool. Have I ever owned one? No. Am I going to own one? Honestly, probably not. I wouldn't mind owning one of the early classic ones, but I mean, the money is huge. Like, you've got to really want one. I can't honestly say that I really want one. There's a few cars that I really want to have, and Porsche's close, but it's not quite there. But I can certainly appreciate them. I do think they're a beautiful car. They're one of the all-time classic shapes ever. I think that's fair to say. I think most people, love them or hate them, would have to agree with that. It's a shape that's continued for, how many decades? I think pretty sure it's longer than any other car. That 911 body shape has been around. Geez, how I don't know. If you're a Porsche guy, tell me how many years has that basic 911 profile been around? Just forever. Old timer. Hey, how you doing, man? Good to have you along, old timer. It's Granddad's drunk. It's my father's best man. He just rang the other day and offered to us. Oh, okay, there you go. That's cool. You got to. I mean, those opportunities don't, for cars like that, don't come along every day. So you got to grab them when you can. That's very cool. It's good that it's gone to someone who appreciates it too. Not just someone out to make a buck. Old timer F7. I'm in the pit of sadness. Your live feed helps me forget. Well, one, I'm glad it helps you forget, but man, what's going on for you? It's not good to hear that you're in the pit of sadness. What's going on for you, buddy? James Matthew, did I or did I not winterize the riding mower battery? Ha, dead. No trickle charger replied. Oops. Yeah, well, it might be permanently dead now. Yeah, if your charger won't recognize, this is a trick I learned a while ago, and you may well know it, but just in case you don't, if your battery's dead, then a trickle charger won't recognize it. It doesn't know that it's been put on a battery. So sometimes you can actually jump the battery you're trying to charge from another battery, and then put the charger on it, leave it like that for half an hour, and then disconnect the jumper battery, and enough juice will have gone into the dead one for the trickle charger to keep charging. So try that if that's a problem for you. Granddad's junk. They're small. Okay, Oxford and okay, small towns. Huh? I hadn't heard of them. Chris Triumph, Steve Sadusky, Mike Finnegan has all the 10mm sockets. Well, if he's got them all, he's got a lot. I'll say that. Old timer, my second cousin is probably as much of an expert on vintage German cars as there is anywhere. Well, that's kind of cool. Driveway of misfits, get a Carmen gear and soup it up, poor man's Porsche. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similarities there with that Carmen gear. There really is. And I think they're pretty cool. I actually do quite like them. Pop's Mustang shop, 2006 Porsche water-cooled problems. Okay, you have them, or what are you saying there, Pops? 2006. Yeah, is that water-cooled or air-cooled? Is that the joke? Checking the radiator fluid on your Volkswagen Bug. Old timer, he could answer any questions on old Porsches. I mean, like from the 50s to the early 70s. There you go. There's a man after my own heart. James Matthew agreed. Porsche's just expensive. A standard bug can get it done with the right parts, so applied. Yeah. I mean, there's some very similar. I mean, the late model stuff, Porsches is like fast, very fast. But some of that earlier stuff is there's very, very close first cousins, shall we say. Driveway of misfits. 68 Beetle has been done for several years now. Now I have an 85 Chrysler to fix up and get back on the road. There you go. Hang on a sec, guys. Now what? Paul Funk, 73 Fahrenheit or 22 Celsius in Colorado today. Yeah, perfect temperatures, man. Perfect temperatures. Straight bullet. I always wanted a 9146. I would probably settle for a small block powered 914 though. Okay, yeah, that'd be interesting. Old timer, lost my 30-year-old only child to an overdose on Friday. Oh man. I found her in her bed, an image I won't forget. Mate, I don't know what to say. That's got to be a parent's worst nightmare. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry is just so insufficient. That's awful. That's really awful. And yeah, I mean, I know that every single guy on here is the heart goes out to you. Mate, I wish I had something profound to say, but there really is. There are no words. There's just no words. That's a terrible thing to have to experience in any way. That's awful. So my heart goes out to you, man, and hang in there. I've lost a few special people, and I'm not comparing it to what's just happened to you, but time does make it a little easier, slowly. But yeah, man, that's awful news. Just so sorry about that. Phew. Okay, well, I'm sure you don't want to listen to us feeling sorry for you, so I think we just keep talking, and I think that's what you came here to hear and to take your mind somewhere else for a little while. So yeah, let's do that. Whew. Alan Shildroff. The Porsche 911 was first unveiled to the public on 12th of September 1963. Huh. Okay. So yeah, that's a few decades ago, isn't it? And that it's still available now. That 911 shape. I mean, it's tweaked obviously considerably, but you can see the lineage there. So yeah, that's a shape that's held its own and still looks good for 60 years. Which is pretty impressive. Old timer, appreciate your kind words, everyone. It helps to tell people. It helps me process it. Yeah, it does. You can't something like that it's not good to internalize it too much. So yeah, I'm very flattered that you wanted to come here and see us, not me, but us, all the other guys here that we all kind of know each other now. So I'm really quite flattered that you've come to share that stuff with us. Chris Triumph, Bourbon, right time. Yeah. James Matthew, I owned a Wolfsburg edition 1959 oval 36 horsepower black with white interior. Wow. Wolfsburg. I haven't heard of a Wolfsburg edition. Okay. Well, what was that about? In primer. My 16-year-old son bought a 73 Mustang. We are trying to get back on the road. Ford ran the fuel line through the wheel well. Why? To get distance from exhaust heat. Ran it through the wheel well. Yeah, actually, that's a good question. No, you're right, they do. Yeah, probably get it away from the exhaust, I would say. Because if they run it on the inside of the rail there, instead of the, directly opposite side outside, it would have been very close to the exhaust system. Especially as the Mustang had a dual exhaust as well. So, or at least the V8 did. Had the dual exhaust, so that would have been very prone to the heat. So yeah, I'd say you've probably figured it out all by yourself, mate. So well done. Josh Homan, everyone pray for his soul. Yeah. Yeah, it's awful news, isn't it? Old timer, it helps. Thanks. Get back to the cars and Kiwi. Okay, man. I mean, yeah, I understand. And that's not to take anything away, but yeah, you didn't come here for a whole. What a pity. So you came here to be distracted. So let's distract them, guys. Driveway of misfits. The 911 is pretty tail happy car though, isn't it? Easy to lose control with all of that weight out back. They have, yes, it was. The modern ones, they have come a long way on. They've got the motor further forward, with better better half shafts on the transmission that are able to run through some, a little bit more angle, and the drive shafts actually angle forward as well as obviously up and down as the suspension travels, but they actually angle forward as well because they did move the engine further forward in the chassis. As opposed to the early ones, they were just a straight line across. The rear, the half shafts were just a dead straight line across. Now it's like the differential part of the transmission is, and the engine and everything is further forward. So if you took a bird's eye view of the rear axles, they kind of face forward that way. How many bourbons have I had? Good Lord. This reverse camera thing is really messes with your head. So yeah, they point forward like that if this was the front this way. So yeah, so they've moved the engine from kind of here to there. Yeah. Captain Desmo, when in doubt, Hot Wheels is out. There you go. Chris Triumph, let's get back on track. Yeah. Yeah. Not to take anything away from Old Timer, but I mean, he did come here to be entertained. So, yeah. Max Level, hello, Kiwi. Any love for the Corvair, America's Porsche? Lowest gasoline price in Boston is $2.78 a gallon this week. How about you? No, we're still in the $3, man. Like the 330s, 340s, depending what part of kind of Nashville, Franklin you're in. And yeah, any love for the Corvair? Yeah, I love the Corvair. I like that. What generation is it? A generation, like the second generation, like the 67-ish Corvair, 67, 68. I really like those. There's a guy on YouTube. What's he called now? Ludwig's Garage, and he's chopped one. He's chopped the roof on one and lowered it a lot. And that's a badass looking car. It's very rat rodish, like it's all patinaed, and where they've done the roof cut, all the cuts are still showing and stuff like that. But the basic lines and the profiles he's come up with, it looks good. So check him out, Ludwig's Garage. Old timer. Car guys are all friends, aren't we? So good times and bad. I'm still looking for a Maverick or a Comet. Buddy had a Maverick Grab, a 302 3-speed standard in high school and loved it. Want a clone? There you go. Yeah, why not? Why not? Indeed. That'd be a good car. That'd be a cool car. Granddad's junk. There are some 50s German cars. Isabella something. There's one for sale. Isabella. Yes, I remember the Isabella. What was it? Isabella. I can't remember the other name. It was a double-barreled name, wasn't it? Borgward Isabella. And Borgward. Yeah, that's what I remember anyway. Borg, like Borgward. Borgward. Not Borg Warner, but Borgward. This is Kiwi just walked in. She's looking gorgeous as usual. I won't tell you what she did then. Okay, I was distracted then. Sorry, guys. Hang on. I'm not keeping up with your comments. Driveway of Misfits, BMW Isetta. Yep. Hello.
He's in my kitchen.
I am, because it wouldn't work downstairs in the man cave. It would not work. Corvair in a bug, 67 Beetle. It was fun as heck. Blow by other V8s in a bug that looks, the looks you get. Huh. Yeah, when I'm back in my rallying days, there was a guy had a Beetle with a Corvair the flat 6 in it, and he rallied that Volkswagen Beetle with a Corvair engine in the back of it. He did pretty well too. Chris Triumph, Isetta the rolling fridge. I haven't heard it called that before, but it's okay. James Matthews, buddy in high school, his mum had a Torino with a 302. It was pretty snappy for a mum car. Yes, it was a two-door. Very cool. That's a good mom car. Two-door Torino, absolutely. Old timer in Rochester, New Hampshire, at a little convenience store on the main border. And if you're a member of the club, the gas is $2.14 a gallon. Wow. That's cheap. Wow. Tech bits and pieces. There are some older 911s here in Oz converted to rotary power. Good Lord. Not a bad option. Not a bad option. Interesting. I wouldn't have thought someone would want to kind of change a 911 that much. $371 here in Northern California. Well, yeah, that's Northern California. You're always going to... Actually, that's not too bad, really, is it, for California? $371. That's only like 40 cents more than we're paying here. I thought it would be like $5. Or is it because you're in Northern California? What's on the T-shirt, Kiwi? There we go. There we go. Real cars don't shift themselves. Got to be a manual trans or a stick shift, as you guys call it. Alan Shildroff, I bought 93 for $2.96. Dang, that's cheap. We pay a lot here, I think. Josh Homan, I hope they can drive gas prices below $2 a gallon. Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad thing, would it? Gosh, I bought 93 the other day for my Audi, and it was almost $4 a gallon. I think it was like $3.96 or something like that. So yeah, it's a lot more here. $2.69 a gallon in Colorado. Beagle Bob, what does everyone like for mufflers? I'm partial to the Flowmaster 40s. I'm a Magnaflow fan. I'll be honest with you. I maybe that's me getting a bit older or something, but I like a little bit more mellow. I don't want to be too noisy. Yeah, I'm really quite a fan of the Magnaflow. Everybody's different. Driveway of misfits. Wow, rotaries in a 911. Can't have been an easy conversion. No, I wouldn't expect so. Because those early 911s were air-cooled, weren't they? So, yeah, that's a whole nother piece of fabrication you've got to do if they're air-cooled cars. Tech bits and pieces. Sydney price for 89 octane, which is like our 93, is $2.10 Aussie dollars. Yeah, per litre, not per gallon. Per litre, so there's close to 4 of them in a US gallon. So that's more like $8 a gallon. So, ouch. Hinsburg. Hinsburg, is that how you say it? Or do you do it letter by letter? Hinsburg. What's a good kit car today? Now, I'm going to qualify this. The only good kit car I know of, and that doesn't mean there's none other out there, but the only good one I know of, because I don't really mess with kit cars, I'm not really the right guy to be asking. There might be guys on here, other guys watching that have a better idea. But Factory 5 Racing, I've been kind of up close and personal with a couple of their cars, and they're very good. They are very good. They've raised the game from what I'm used to seeing, put it that way. So yeah, Factory 5 is definitely a good kit car. There may be others out there that I'm just not aware of. Driveway of Misfits. Borgwood was an East German car, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh gosh, gone too far up again. Where do we go? Wow, I got way behind here. Here we go. Drivers. Andy Nicol, a little late. I got YouTube sidetracked. Okay. Mate, yeah, I've been down a few rabbit holes on YouTube. I have to put my hand up for that one. Old timer F7, have her come on and say hello. She's a bit camera shy. I'm actually surprised she put her face in there, to be honest. Fran XB learned to drive 69 in 1969 in a 65 four-door Corvair Monza. The first car was a 64 Corvair convertible. Cool cars, especially the convertible. Josh Homan, West German, that's the Borgward. Yeah, I couldn't tell you where they were from, to be honest. They could have been either. I really don't know. The dude. Is that a question for Mrs. Kiwi, that question, dude, is it? Well, no, we have not booked a room for Carlisle yet. Right. What else we got going? Alan Trimble. Totally agree about the second-gen Corvair. I love those cars. The Corvair 6 was a popular engine to swap into the Porsche 914 in the late 70s, early 80s. Huh, okay. Old timer, she came on. Yes, she did. Driveway of Misfits. Steve Sadusky, not true. They just needed sway bar. Okay. I'm not sure whether she's actually watching in the other room now. She might be. Steve Sadusky, hi, Mrs. Kiwi. 69 Coronet 500, Beagle Bob. I like my 3-inch pipes with Flowmasters, 383 auto. Ooh, that's going to be a noisy car, I'll bet, with 3-inch pipes on it. Fran XB, hi. I'm sure that's a hi for Mrs. Kiwi, not me. Danny Boyd, second-gen Veers are quite a good-looking car. I think they really do think they are. They're very Camaro-looking. And I'll tell you what, I saw a picture of the other day, and that was actually a Camaro. I think it was a Camaro. A buddy of mine was showing me, and it was on his phone, so I can't go back and check. But I'm pretty sure it was a Camaro with a Corvair roof on it. And that really made that like messed with your head. It was like, what am I looking at? Like, you could see Corvair, you could see Camaro, and like an early Camaro. And yeah, it looked good, but it was confusing. At least it was for me. It's quite odd. Driveway of Misfits. I'm waiting for Mrs. Kiwi to turn on the blender. No, she wouldn't do that. She wouldn't do that. James Matthews. Nice shirt, Kiwi. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I like it. Tech bits and pieces. 911 conversion onto a rotary is quite easy. A rotary adaptive bell housing for the gearbox is used, and engine mounts are used via the original Porsche mounts. Well, there you go. And was they an air-cooled Porsche, or were they water-cooled? So did you have to add a complete cooling system to it? Captain Desmo. I got a 4 neutral transmission. Works great. Ah, interesting. Yes, 4 neutrals. Yeah, I bet the miles per gallon's not great though, is it? Granddad's junk, we pay that for a litre here, yeah, $2.76 a litre in New Zealand. It's high, man. It's high. Chris Triumph, Kiwi is the most handsome man I've ever seen on this live stream. That's because I'm the only guy you've seen on this live stream. That's that's not that big a title. I want you to be fair. I had old Kevin Tetz and co on. On the other few weeks back. So yeah. I'll take that. I'll take that as a compliment, even if it is rye infused. Yeah, Kevin and TC Pennick, they're the only other two faces that have been on this live stream. Driveway of Misfits, usually 13B turbo rotary or an FCFD RX7 as they are mounted with the centre housing. Oh, okay. With the centre housing. All right. Okay. Captain Desmo, Super Performance is a great kit car. Okay. What cars do they make, bud? Like what models? Brad Hudson, $1.45, $1.45 per litre here in central Alberta. So yeah, that's what's that work out? $6 a gallon, just under. Yeah, that's still pretty expensive, but yeah, better than a lot of places. Now, where do we go? Here we go. Alan Sheldroff, of course, through Walmart was about 30 cents cheaper than everybody else. For some reason, the prices go up 40 cents overnight. Then they try to work themselves down for the last few months. Yeah. Dude. I'm not sure about going to Carlisle, mate. You think you like me just a little too much. You make me nervous. Not really. Hansabar. Thanks, man. No, you're welcome. In Primer, Buddy has a 46 Willys Jeep, needs a head gasket. Can't get the head pulled off because of all the friction corrosion of the million head studs. Fearful of pulling studs and breaking them. Ideas. Oy. 46 Willys Jeep. Well, that'll be a flathead, won't it, for sure? Yeah, so I'm assuming you've got the nuts off and it just still won't lift. What's the best way? Honestly, transmission fluid and acetone. Do a 50-50 mix of transmission fluid and acetone, and just keep adding it. Just keep soaking it. Don't expect to try getting it off in the next week. Just give yourself a week of every day, in the evening or in the morning before you go to work or whatever. Just go and wet all the studs down with 50% ATF and 50% acetone. And acetone's a little fiddly to get, Lowe's and Home Depot and stuff have it. But yeah, get yourself a mix of that, and once a day, at least once a day. If you can do it twice a day, just keep wetting it down and give it a good solid week, and see how you go. You just got to keep working it, man. Just keep working it. There's no like easy options really. It's not like you can pour enough heat into the whole head and all the head studs at once to be able to lift it off. That's not going to work for you. It'd be nice if you could get it up to running temperature, but you're taking the head off, I'm guessing, because it doesn't run. So yeah. That's my idea. Tech bits and pieces. When I worked for vehicle importers, one customer's car was converted to rotary as the original 3.3 litre engine was costly to rebuild. And what was the car they put that into? The 3.3. Sounds very GM-ish. 3.3. Captain Desmo, Factory 5, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. Yep. Old timer. Now, actually, that's a valid idea. And in Primer, pull the whole engine and do the electrolysis thing. That's actually, if you can get a big enough container, just scoot back and watch. I just, a couple of months back did some videos on electrolysis, and it really does work well. And that's going to be a pretty small engine anyway. It's not like you're trying to get a big block shed in a tub. You will need a decent sized tub, but get the whole thing in there, because the beauty with electrolysis is that it doesn't eat anything else other than the rust. So that's a really good idea, old timer. Absolutely it is. James Matthew, Kiwi question. On a 4-litre Jeep, is there a freeze plug on the cylinder head next to the firewall, or is there one in between the back of the engine and transmission? Mate, I do not know. That is something those are not engines I've messed with. And in all honesty, the best person that I can think of to get that answer would be Uncle Tony. Like he's messed with those 4-litre Jeep engines, and he probably still is. So he would, and he's had one for years, and he rebuilt the engine in it. So yeah, he'll have most of the answers on a 4-litre. But if you're on his channel, I would, or like he does live like I do, so I would probably jump on his live tomorrow night. I believe it's on, and ask him. I really can't tell you where any of the freeze plugs are in a 4-litre. Granddad's junk. The dude's getting the evil eye from Mrs. Kiwi. Oh goodness. Yes, you might be right there. Tech bits and pieces. Here back in the 80s, there was a Corvair used with a mid-mounted Chev racing in the sports sedans. Okay. Yep. That's been done here for road cars, believe it or not, where they've gone mid-mounted. And I knew a guy, years ago, he was going to put a big block Ford mid-mounted in a Corvair, but I don't think he ever got there in the end. But yeah, and apparently that was a thing. He was saying that he knew of quite a few with big block Chevs mid-mounted in them. So he was a Ford nut, so he was going to kind of give them the proverbial finger and put a big block Ford in the Corvair. James Matthew, my 95 Cherokee is piddling in my driveway. Yeah, it sounds like you got a freeze plug done for. Yeah, hopefully it's not behind the transmission, but who knows, mate? I don't know. I just don't know. I'm sorry. Fran XB, correct. Okay, I'm not sure what you're correct about. I missed that one. Andy Nickel, I enjoyed the 4-link on the goat. I kind of like the longer vids. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure whether it was the length of the video or the fact of Sunday. I think I'm going to stop putting videos out on Sunday evenings because they just seem to flop. I've not had a good number, view numbers on a Sunday night, and I'm not sure why. The analytics tell me that there's, most of my viewers are on YouTube on, at 6 o'clock on, from 6 o'clock to about 10 o'clock on a Sunday. But I put the video, everyone I've done on a Sunday has kind of gone down the Googler a bit. Like that one, they give you a top 10 ranking in the analytics on with YouTube, and like the previous one on the Hemi-powered F100, like that, they give you a ranking of the last 10 videos that you've published, and that the Hemi-powered F100 is like sitting at number 1. It's got like 8,000 views, and the GTO one went straight to number 10 by a reasonable margin. I think it's just about made 2,000 views now, so it's well behind that Hemi-powered Ford, which kind of surprised me. I didn't, not saying I thought it would do better. That Hemi F100, was going to turn some heads because it had a Hemi in it. So that was always going to do fairly well. But yeah, I didn't really expect the GTO one to just slot straight into 10th and sit there. It's not gone anywhere other than 10th place. Charles Dalton, Andy Nickel, I'll second that. He made it look easy, but well explained and shown. Yeah, it's a challenge to not kind of go too in depth and to also go in depth enough. It's a fine line, and for me anyway, I'm always kind of struggling and messing with my head a little bit. It's like, do I need to tell them about this little tiny detail or that little tiny detail? Or everybody knows that, and that's the worst thing you can assume is everybody knows that, because I do this hobby job, like 5-6 days a week. So I'm working on these things constantly. So what seems obvious to me, and I think everyone knows that, is because I'm spending 40, 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week working on cars. So it's not always as obvious to everybody, and sometimes it's tricky to bring yourself back and put yourself in the weekend warrior guy's shoes, who just, not because they're not smart, it's just they don't, they haven't put in the hours. So you've kind of got to bring it back and go, okay, well, not everybody knows, as much as someone who works on these things all the time. But it's an interesting balance. So it's good to get feedback from you guys, and that you like them a little bit longer. And there's obviously there's the YouTube demographic that likes 3-minute videos. 3-minute videos are a long video for some people. So you've kind of got to try and hit that happy medium somewhere, and figure out what your audience likes. So, but at the moment, that GTO is telling me that no, they don't really like 47-minute videos. So it's either the length or the Sunday night, and I kind of think it's the Sunday night. Chris Tribe, Kiwi married up. Well, I'm going to tell her that if she's not watching. So yes, I agree. But you try and kind of, you got to set your sights high, don't you? '69 Coronet. The Flowmasters are pretty quiet, idling around. If you stomp on it, it will start to roar above 2,500 to 3,000. That's what you want. That's what you want to know you're driving a V8, right? Pop's Mustang shop. I have been driving my 74 Charger, Richard Petty Blue, lately. People just have to come up and talk about the car at the gas station or the store parking lot. Oh, mate, they do. Yeah. And that, that's part of it. I do quite enjoy that. I mean, sometimes it's like, oh, I'm in a hurry. It's I always try and talk to whoever wants to talk to me about whatever car I'm driving. Because I don't want to run anybody off from the hobby. Captain Desmo, just remember, when in doubt, go to the point of when you see God, downshift, go right. There you go. Oh, here we go. Max level. A Mrs. Kiwi cameo factors heavily in my imaginary Kiwi drinking game. Finishes bourbon, pours another. Okay. Straight. Okay, someone's been hitting the bourbon. Where'd that go? Oh, it shot up the page. Good Lord. Wow, it shot way up the page. Mix level, there we go. Kiwi could be a model. A model what? A model of a mechanic? Paul Funk. My dad had a friend who belonged to the Corvair club back in the 70s that raced Corvairs on the old Lowry AFB runways in Denver. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Captain Desmo. Super Performance builds the Cobra GT40 and I believe the Daytona Super Coupe. Okay. The Cobra and the GT40 and the Daytona. All right. The Cobras I can take or leave. I'm not a big Cobra fan, I'll be honest with you. The GT40, that's a car. That's a car. Andy Nickel, Brad Hudson. Yeah, I try not to look at the pump here in Edmonton. Yeah. I mean, it just is what it is, isn't it? You gotta pay to play. You gotta fill up, and just bite the bullet and pull the trigger. Stray bullet. I would probably start tapping on that head with my 5-pound sledgehammer. Yeah, you can be a little bit gentle there. Those flathead heads are hollow. You don't want to be Benizovich. I hope I'm saying that right, but start it with no coolant and no nuts. Yeah, if you can get it to run, that's not a bad idea. Actually, get some heat into it that way. If it'll start, but I suspect that's why they're going straight to pulling the head, because it won't start. But I might be wrong. Andy Nichols, sitting on one of the largest oil fields in the world and some of the highest prices. Yeah. There's a bitter irony there, isn't there? Stray bullet, interesting idea, Eric. Yeah, I mean, it really is. But I think the biggest battle with that idea is going to be getting it started. No coolant and no nuts. Yeah, it's heat's what's heat is what will free it up, most likely. Unless I actually really think that the electrolysis idea is really not bad. Just put it in a huge tub and leave it alone for 2 weeks. Just leave it percolating and come back and see what you got. It'll clean the inside of the block out too, so that's a bonus. Driveway of misfits. Yeah, you can have all the crude in the world, but without a refinery, you're kind of out of luck. Yeah, you've just got a lot of black sludge, really, without a refinery. The dude, have you ever used one of those magnetic induction bolt heaters, Kiwi? I have not. Seen them quite a lot. I mean, there's a ton of little shorts and stuff on YouTube of those things. I mean, they do work from all accounts. That is a thing. And you might be able to use that on that little flathead, but it's getting enough of them hot enough, quick enough. The thing with that induction is that the heats the bolt up very quick because it's very concentrated, but that heat gets sucked away from everything cold around it pretty quickly as well, because you've only you've got it red hot, but it's only a very small thing, that small piece of stud or nut that is hot, so that what's cold around it pulls that heat away pretty quickly. So you'd heat one up red hot, and by the time you were doing the third one, I would say that first one would have cooled down enough to not be that effective anymore. So it'd be like you'd need 4 of those things going, double fisting it, trying to heat them all up. Don's Manufactory. Hello, folks, late to the party. What we sipping? Me, I am sipping an old fashioned. Yeah, that's what I'm drinking. One of the guys is drinking rye because he can't get bourbon in Canada, rye whiskey. So yeah, but we did our best to stay away from the political talk and why there's no bourbon in Canada. Andy Nickel, right you are, but the huge thing on the east side of town they call refineries make me wonder. There you go. Yeah, it would. Barry Cooter. Hey, mate, how you doing? Please remain seated. Okay. Yeah, I was going to stand up. I really was. Honestly, I was. But now I won't. Yeah. Brad Hudson, UTG Live is on Thursday now. Okay, I didn't know that. So there you go. Yeah. Stray Bullet, Tony is doing lives on Thursday night. James Matthew, I'm sub to him. Yeah, a lot of people are sub to Tony. Driveway of Misfits. That's because we're all hanging out at the Dead Dodge Garage live stream on Sunday night. Yeah, look, it could be. Obviously, I think the GDO I posted it like it was about 6 o'clock at night. Which is before Dead, a couple of hours before Dead Dogs, and it just didn't rate well from, the first 10 minutes. Maybe people are just having Sunday dinner and Sunday family time and stuff like that, and it's just not the right time. But yeah, you kind of got to listen to the analytics, and I've done it several times now, and I failed on the Sunday night. So it's like, don't expect too many more videos on Sunday afternoon, evenings. Early this year, I was watching Sunday Night Football. There you go. Sunday nights, maybe family time. Maybe it's the kids on YouTube Sunday nights. Yeah, all of those things are possible. and without trying to figure all that out, really, what the stats are telling me is that Sunday evenings are not my time, and it's like, okay. I mean, that's easy to change. You just hit publish on Monday night instead. Stray bullet. You flip the transaxle upside down and cut off the engine mounting flange. Clock it 180 degrees and then weld it back onto the and install the mid-mounted V8 in the Corvair. Piece of cake. Just a sawzall and a welder, right? Oh, it's been done though. Yeah, I mean, it's not. You're right. It's not that hard. The dude pushing my merchandise. Good on you, man. I thank you for that. Oh, we got 60 in the room and 63 likes, so that's pretty good. You guys are hitting the like button, so I appreciate that. It does help. Brad Hudson, to help you out, Kiwi, the GDO video was too long for me at that time posted. Was going to watch tonight, but your live came on. Okay. Hey, no, look, it's good feedback. So yeah, that is helping me out. That's a very fair comment. So yeah, I did think it was a little long, and I was kind of struck. I didn't, as I was filming it, I didn't quite realize just how long it was getting, and I possibly should have done it as a two-parter, but yeah, I didn't. So it's funny. See, like Kevin Tate's, that friend of mine that has the Paint Education channel. All his videos are over an hour, and he publishes them like once a week, Saturday morning, 8 o'clock Saturday morning, same time, same channel type thing. And he's doing really well at it. So it's interesting. There's just more than one way to skin a cat, Captain Desmo, I have a 6-lug Dodge rear end. Not sure the ratio, which is irrelevant. On a Model A frame with a 4-link, is there a 5-lug conversion for a Dodge rear end? Well, the only conversion I would know of would be wheel adapters, and I know you can get like 5-lug to 8-lug, and I'm guessing there would be a 6-lug to 5-lug conversion as well. The alternatively is drilling your axles and drums, which the trick with that is finding someone to do it. Most people just don't want to be bothered doing it and then they usually start quoting liability issues at you. But it's kind of a fiddly little job, and you've got to be like nuts on accurate. Otherwise, your wheel ends up going around like that instead of in a circle. So yeah, a lot of the machine shops or engineering shops just don't want to do it. Beagle Bob, would you keep all 4 tyres the same size or run larger in the rear? I'm quite a fan of a little bit larger in the rear. Not massively, but yeah, a little bit larger in the rear. Wheelie King 71. I definitely married up. I'm a grubby old half-crippled hillbilly. My wife is smoking hot. Still not sure how I pulled it off. Well, hey, the thing is you did, man, so good for you. More power to you. Thank heavens for low standards. That's all I can say. Yeah. Riemann Cable. I've been around more than a few decades. Lucky to have ridden in many cool rides over those years. People's stories give you a wider library of knowledge and understanding. Yeah. I think that's kind of why we're here on these types of live streams. I know you don't all come here just to hang on my every word. You're reading what all the other guys are saying, and that. So I'm just really facilitating the chat. But yeah, it's fun reading all your guys' stories. It really is. Driveway of Misfits. I married a Vassar girl. Okay, enlighten me. I don't know what a Vassar girl is, but it kind of sounds a bit dirty, I have to say. But yeah, what's that about, man? Kiwi. I sold everything to try a new life, shop tours, etc. Now I have to start again. No big deal. If you love it, worth the work. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Christopher C. Slide off your satin sheets, Johnny Paycheck. Okay. Steve Sadusky, Kev is making prank calls. He just called me. Oh, no. Yeah. Be scary if it was true. Stray Bullet, Thursday night was always the most popular time for television shows. Yeah, wasn't it? All the best, like the number one shows would always be on a Thursday night. Yeah. I guess that had all to do with it being just like that one day before the weekend. Friday nights were, party night, and yeah. Tech bits and pieces. The GTO video with the suspension upgrade, I think, was not too long, as it was well detailed in the conversion process. Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, I don't think. Who was it? Was saying that it was like too long. It was too long for when he saw it come up. He was going to watch it later. So yeah, that's and unfortunately, often that'll happen and people don't get back. Oh, I have to watch that later because it's a bit longer, and then they don't get back to it. And I think that's where some of your views go. But yeah, I kind of watched the video a couple of times, and I didn't feel I could really cut much more out of it without like just leaving big gaps. So it is what it is. Still has a couple of thousand views, and it's probably one of those videos that will keep, like the gift that keeps on giving. I think it will just keep ticking over slowly but surely, as the weeks and months go by. When people go searching for a Detroit speed stuff, hopefully that'll come up. Fish Geraldine. I've been listening in, but about to go night. Been in the hospital since the 16th. Just got my pain meds fading away. Oh, okay. Hey, man, I hope you're doing okay. You've been in the hospital since the 16th. That's a bit of a stay. Mate, what's going on with you? Hope all is going to be okay. Obviously, it's not all okay right now, or you wouldn't be in the hospital. Tech bits and pieces. Trends and car mods change quite a lot between countries. Oh, absolutely they do. Yep. Chris Triumph, Kiwi, I was eating Mexican food while working on my car. Why is my rearing making noise? Well, just don't start any fires, mate. That's the key thing. Yeah, no naked flames. If that rear end's making that much noise, no naked flames. Beagle Bob, maybe Thursday night just had the best shows. Yeah, I mean, I think they did have the best shows, but I think they put the best shows on the nights that rated the best. There's a pattern to what people watch and when. Yeah. Tech bits and pieces. Sometimes I do binge watching on various YouTubers I follow. Yeah, you kind of get in the mood and mood for something, and yeah. And yeah, the binge watching is a thing for sure. Captain Desmo, well, Kiwi, I'm out. Going to go break something. Well, good. What else have we got here? Pete Bazikos, Kiwi, whatever happened to the Barracuda project? The Barracuda project is sat at the back corner of the yard, not getting any younger. But yeah, too many other things going on right now, and I'm just not able to get back to it, which is a shame because it's all the ingredients are there. But yeah, I've got to I got to stop booking the public's cars in to work at the workshop and do a little bit more on my own. But there is I don't know what it's like around the rest of the country, but there is such a shortage of anybody that knows how to work on old cars, and my phone just rings and rings and rings, and some people are really quite desperate. And I just end up saying, yeah, okay, bring it in, we'll squeeze it in. And I'm getting better at not doing that, but yeah, it's you know, I have a what am I trying to say? I kind of feel obliged to kind of help these people out. It's like it's my hobby, it's my living, and to just say, tough luck, pal, you're out. I'm too busy. Sorry for your luck. You know, seems that's not me. Like I want to, yeah, it gets me in trouble, is for sure, because I try and help everybody out if I can. You know, but yeah, that doesn't always serve me as well as it might. But you know, it is what it is, and I am what I am, and I will try and help as many people as I can. Robert Beckler, never watched much TV after I left home in '83. Remember the Muppets? Mate, yeah, absolutely. It doesn't everybody remember the Muppets? That was one of your greatest, or America's greatest exports, was the Muppets. Riemann Cable, Kiwi, sir. Yeah, you're being way too polite, mate. Where would you use low melt arc welding process on a 50s truck? General question. Where would you use low melt arc welding process? That's an interesting question. Mate, I honestly can't remember the last time I used an arc welder, let alone with the low melt. I don't know. You've got me. I don't have an answer for that at all, because I've just never done it. Yeah, sorry. Can you kind of elaborate a little more on the question? Like where's the question coming from? Have you got, you know, are you trying to weld something up with a low melt rod, or like? If you can give me a little more, I might be able to give you a better answer, or a answer for that matter. Volfly, dinner tonight, Smeat, short for it's meat. Oh, there you go. Stew meat marinated in Laurie's chipotle marinade for 2 days. Nice. Bacon oven for 350. Yeah. Well, that'll be tender. Okay, so that's the menu at Volfly's place. He's taking bookings from like 9 p.m. on. So just give him a call and he'll fit you in. Check bits and pieces. Time is always a factor when it comes to projects. Oh, yes. Yep. Yeah. Like I kind of tried to promise myself that Saturdays would be project days, but like last Saturday I spent working on the GDO because I just had to get it done because I got more cars coming in and I need to get it off the rack. And yeah, so last Saturday went out the window. This Saturday I got things to do, so I will be doing a bit of me time this Saturday. Driveway of Misfits. When the name of your shop includes the words classics and customs, you have to expect people with, oh, absolutely. You would be amazed how many people with 2010 and newer call me wanting stuff done. You'd be amazed. And more with 2000 and newer, and people with late 90s cars. Because a lot of places will not work on anything older than 20 years. Which puts you at 2005. So I'm getting a lot of calls from people, say with, like between 20 to 30-year-old cars, which that's too new for me. I honestly don't really know my way around them well enough to be working on them. Certainly on the tuning sides of things, I mean, brakes and stuff like that has never really changed. But I try not to get myself in trouble with that, 20, 30-year-old stuff, because anything, those electronics, like that's Dr. Art stuff, right? Yeah. Chris Triumph, I would love to own a first-gen Barracuda. Worked on quite a few. They're a cool car. Oh, the very first gen. Yeah, I prefer the second gen, to be honest with you. But yeah, Dr. Art's just got a first-gen Barracuda. He just bought one off Uncle Tony. So, you should go and have a look at his one. Alan Shildroff, it was bad when Miss Piggy got killed by Kermit. Tough episode. I don't remember seeing that episode. Yeah, that must have been on a different channel. Steve Sadusky, any ideas on how to open the trunk on my 78 Trans Am? I lost the key and there is no inside trunk release. I've tried lock picking rakes, but no luck. Should I drill it out? Yeah, that's probably what you're looking at, Steve, is drilling it out. 78 Trans Am there, there's no way through the back, is there? On one of those. No, you're drill it out, mate. The locks are pretty cheap. But yeah, just drill it out. You should be good. Steve Magnuson, will the GTO be at stock ride height with stockish size wheels, tyres, or more of a lowered resto mod with fat tyres, or somewhere in between? It's going to be more of a resto mod look. We put 2-inch drop spindles in it, and obviously the back will be coming down a couple of inches as well. And we're going to 17-inch wheels, so not big wheels, but bigger, yeah. So they're going to be 17s with fairly high profile. For a 17, like 45 or 50 profile. So they're going to be a decent amount of sidewall in them so they don't look like rubber bands on 20-inch wheels, which I don't care for. So, yeah, it's more of a resto mod look. Laurel Flynn, I should be at the beach hop, but instead I've decided to cook up a sack of mussels that I couldn't pass up. Oh, fair enough. When does the beach hop start? Thursday your time, isn't it? My Mustang's going to be down there. My brother-in-law is driving my Mustang and my dad's Mustang, really, down to the beach hop, the blue convertible 65. So if you go down and see my dad's 65 blue Mustang convertible, go and say hello. Adam's his name. You can just rock up and say, "Hey, Adam," and he won't know who the hell you are. So there you go. Brad Hudson, Steve Sadusky, try all the GM keys from that era you can find. Only about 10 keys. Really? Only 10 different cuts. Wow. Tech bits and pieces. Kiwi, take the wife out this Saturday. That's probably pretty good advice, actually. That's pretty good advice. I might just do that. Sunday tends to be like a day for us going out, eating out, or breakfasting out, or something like that on Sunday. But yeah, why not Saturday? I do have to go and pick up the front suspension for the truck, the F100. I've got a Crown Vic front suspension for it, so I've got to go and pick that up. And on the round trip, I'm heading back to Kevin Tates's place to try and help him get that Chevy truck that he bought. That I went with him to pick up that Chevy truck he's building. So yeah, I said I'd swing by and see if we couldn't get that thing started. He's got it freed up and turning over and stuff like that. So yeah, see if we can't fire it up. See how much smoke we can blow out the exhaust. Beagle Bob, do you plan on hiring anyone else? Mate, if I could find somebody good, I would. That's the biggest problem with this business. There's no up-and-comers. Well, I shouldn't say there's none. There are some talented, young guys out there. When I say young, like 30s, out there, but they're working for themselves. They're either working for themselves or they're working for, they're at a shop and they're valued and they're being looked after very well, and they typically don't want to move. So finding guys that can do these old cars is just like I'll be honest, I haven't even tried to hire anyone for quite a long time because I've just given up looking. Tech bits and pieces. EFI cars are not hard to play with. Yeah, it's the old story. When you know how to do it, it's easy. And some of the EFI guys that I know are completely mystified by carburetors. They wouldn't touch one. So it's what there's a level of it's what you know. And I got so much work, so many cars, so many people want to bring me their cars that are in my lane. So I'm just trying to stay in my lane, Chris Tripe, Steve, take the back seat out, use a long screwdriver. There is a hole for it. Interesting. Okay. Well, hopefully Steve's reading that. If he's still with us, hopefully. Really? So how long is a long screwdriver, Chris Tripe? Merriment cable, low mount welding as a filler piece in a scoured frame mount boss inside a 1950s truck. Looks like someone previously had torched that mount to remove the head of a bolt. Oh, okay. Scoured frame mount boss. Yeah, you could just say it's more of a cosmetic thing that you're trying to achieve. I haven't done anything like that. I've definitely migged up areas that have been, attacked like that, and ground it to shape and stuff like that. But that I haven't used the low melt welding. No. Volfly, there is definitely a rise in the older car market. My vintage EFI skills are in demand. I'll bet they are, and it's just going to grow too, mate. So you're in good shape. Volfly, lock picking is an art. Yes, it is. It is. Stray bullet, make a new key from the glove compartment. Lock on that Firebird. That's the same. The glove box and the trunk are the same. I would have thought he would have tried his glove box key in the trunk lid. What I'd do. Firefly, good idea, stray bullet. There you go. You might be able to pull that off, assuming he's got a key for his glove compartment. Beagle Bob, to give some context to 17-inch wheels, the Crown Vic cop cars had them, and I've never heard anyone call the tyres rubber bands. That's just what they look like to me. When you get into the 20s and 22s and the 30 profiles, they just look like they're that high. And it just looks like a heavy-duty rubber band on a rim. Alan Shildroff, hit all the pins and turn is all I can say about locks. Yeah, that's the theory behind it, isn't it? Chris Triumph, I'm a lock picker. In Canada, if you are found with the tools without a permit, you're screwed. Really? You can buy them online here. Tech bits and pieces. Had a 74 Datsun 240K. I turbocharged and injected, and I learnt what I know from tinkering with that. EFI in principle is the same as carby, just without a lot of sensors. Yeah. If I was a little bit younger, I would be all about it. I would be all over it. But I'm not, and the skills I have with carburetors are in demand enough. And I just reached a point where if I need injection work, I'm just going to defer to someone who is like yourself, who's really good at it, learned it, knows it, and can do it. And they can bill me, and I'll bill the other guy for working on his carburetor. It's just more efficient, honestly. But if I was 30 years younger, I would be all over it. The people that can make those early EFI systems work are going to do well. They're going to do well. Reedman cable. I like my sidewalls on my tyres to combat those potholes. Yeah, I agree. I don't like super low profile tyres. I don't. Reedman Cable also, he's also an old carburetor guy. There you go. I mean, you just got to, at some point you've got to just defer. It's same with when I had my diesel truck. Like, I could have learned how to work on a diesel, and I'm like, whenever I touch it, I get horribly dirty and black, and I don't really know what I'm doing well enough, and I'm just going to send it to the diesel truck shop and continue working in my shop and charge them the same price I'm getting charged for working on my diesel truck, and everybody's happy. Not a bad idea. Brad Hudson, trunk lid may have been changed over the years for better condition lid. Keys get lost and people don't change locks when they change doors and trunk. Yeah, that's true. That's the thing. I think that other, that whole reaching through the hole in the rear with a super long screwdriver, I think is, that sounds like a real option. But yeah, hoping to read more about that. Yeah. Steve Sadusky, yeah, over lock and picks, and I've tried several different rakes on the tumblers, but no luck so far. I've tried for 2 hours. Yes. Yeah. Did you read, Steve, where someone was saying you can reach through with a super long screwdriver and actually reach that rear lock and open it like that from inside? I don't know. I don't know. I haven't looked that hard at one of those early Camaros. You're not looking for that type of thing. But apparently there's a little hole in the back bulkhead there somewhere. Driveway of misfits. Nothing wrong with narrow the focus to carbs. Industry is too large to know everything. This is just it. There's new stuff coming online every day, new ways of doing things. I honestly, I wish I knew a little bit more about the Holly fuel injection systems, because I get asked about that every other day. And part of the reason I'd like to know is I'd like to be able to help people with it, because nobody around here can get them working properly. So, and honestly, in my opinion, Holly needs to put a lot more effort into making sure there's a good support network for their product, because what I'm seeing around here, there is not a good support system for their fuel injection systems. And that's, they're putting a lot of their eggs in that fuel injection basket as opposed to carburetors. So, I think it would, what do they say? It would behoove them to have a good dealer network in place. And, I spoke to them a while ago, and there was another guy doing them too close to me, so they were like, no, we don't want anyone else as a Holly fuel injection installer or repairer. And I'm like, okay. And that guy has since closed down and gone, and they haven't filled that gap. So and the number of calls I get about snipers is alarming. Tech Bits and Pieces, late model EFI, you can find the fault codes using the OBD scan tool. Yeah, you can. I don't have one of those, and as of right now, honestly, I just don't need one. I just don't need one. So maybe a little bit narrow-minded of me, I guess it could be said. Maybe so. I'm okay with it. I've got more work than I can do, so I just don't want to try overtaxing this old brain of mine to learn very much new stuff, I'll be honest with you. Steve Sadusky, maybe walking away from it and trying fresh may do it. It may well do, mate. Alan Shildroff, thick oil in the keyhole. Oh, what does that hold the tumblers out once you've moved them? The tumbler, the little pins. Driveway of misfits. Take the lock cylinder for the glove box to a locksmith and have them make a key. That's an option too. Volfly, late model EFI will put the dash into panic mode for a minor catalytic converter efficiency code dash fascists. Beagle Bob, do many people ask about EFI swapping their carbureted cars? Yes, quite a few do. Because they see it, it's pushed a lot. You see Holly pushing their product a lot on, and a few others as well, not just Holly, pushing their, their EFI systems. And so a lot of people do inquire about it, and I just tell them to be careful because there's very few people around that are either A, willing, and 2, able to work on them. Dr. Art, welcome along. How you doing, man? Oh, you look very dirty on the GTO. I'm a very dirty person. What can I tell you? Yeah, that did. There was a few little grease traps around the place on that car, but you do get dirty when you actually work on a car, as opposed to some YouTubers. Now, not you. I'm not having a dig at you, Doc. You helped me a lot, which I appreciate. But yeah. Volfly, so take a dirty picture. There you go. Someone else commented on that video that I was dirty, and I was like, oh yeah, well, when you spend a day under a car squeezing around exhaust pipes and coil springs and everything else, you do get a bit dirty. Steve Sadusky, I can try that. Don't know if I can find that long of a screwdriver. Remove the back seats, but the access holes are about 4 or 5 inches in diameter. Okay. Yeah. 4 or 5. You might be able to get your arm through some of the way. Because the trunk's pretty short on those things, isn't it? It's very short boot on it. Yeah, maybe arm through the hole in a long screwdriver, and might be an excuse to go down to Harbour Freight or Northern Tools or whatever and buy their biggest screwdriver they've got on the rack there. I'm sure they'll have a 4-footer there, easy. Tech bits and pieces. Beagle Bob, there are quite a few conversions here converting carb engines to EFI. Now, Tech bits, you're an Aussie, aren't you? So you've got some good fuel injection systems over there. Haltech, and who's the other big one? Haltech, and I've gone blank. There's another one that's been around for 2 or 3 decades and does a lot of fuel injection for the touring cars, I believe. I've gone completely blank. I know it, but I'm having a brain fart. Too many bourbons. See, you can tell it's nearly 9 o'clock because we're getting a bit low here. Oh yeah, we've got about 5 minutes, guys. So yeah. What do we got? Reedman cable. Electronic specialists might bypass some of those barriers, but there is that legal thing to consider. Yeah, you got to be a little bit careful here, depending what you're bypassing and for who. Volfly, take a length of rod stock, grind it into a 3-foot screwdriver. There you go. See, there's always a way. Volfly, sir, the override, it's been overridden. Yeah. Tech bits and pieces. Carb scan tool is a screwdriver and some small spanners. Fine tuning equals learning the jets and emulsion tubes. Yeah, but I mean that's an education in itself, isn't it? Emulsion tubes, jets, all that, how they work with each other, air correctors, all that stuff is there's a bit to learn, and yeah. Cold War Motors. Hey man, how you doing? Good to have you in here. You're in here a little late though. We've got about 5 minutes to go. But yeah, hey, good to have you here, man. How's it going up there in sunny Canada? Haltech, Motec's who I was thinking of, or Tronic, yeah, and Holly as well, yeah. I bet you the Motec people kind of giggle behind their hands at Holly, though. Motec is like light years ahead of Holly as far as I can see. Who else have we got here? 7:30. Eagle Bob. 7:30 seconds remaining. Oh, dear. I'd forgotten all about the fractions. We've gone back there again. There we go. Stray Bullet. Oh, you're all signing off. Okay, Don's Manufacturing. See you later, Mr. Kiwi. Go and give Mrs. Kiwi some attention. Okay, I'll tell her you said that. You should probably just look at me sideways, but hey. Gabriel DeMarco. Hey, Kiwi. I used too long a carb stud and now I have a pimple on my hood. Can you do a video on how to shrink metal? Okay. Yeah, probably can. I've got a little bit of that to do coming up. So yeah, okay. I can try and include that in there. Yeah. Cold War Motors. Yeah, just came inside. Sorry, I missed out. More snow on the way this weekend. Oh, Lord. It does warm up there eventually at some point, I'm assuming. Tech bits. Fine-tuning carbon is definitely a work of art for those who know how to tune them. Yeah. I'm not bad. There's better, but I'm not bad. Barracuda. I found out recently the designer of the first-gen Camaro also designed the 67 Vauxhall Viva and the Monaro. Interesting. Yeah, you can see some DNA, some sharing of DNA amongst those three cars for sure. Yeah. What was his name? Vacuum gauge makes carb tuning easier. Yep. Not so much at the wide open throttle, half throttle and wide open throttle. The vacuum gauge is not so useful. But certainly great for helping with getting them idle in that transition, off idle, that sort of thing. Volfly. Fine-tuning carbs is not so bad. Dealing with CAN bus networks on new cars is bad. Idiot engineers. Yeah, well, they're all trying to. I think some of them it becomes a bit of a pissing contest and who can develop the most complicated system to, please their bosses. Well, Cold War Motors, that is a pleasure to have you here. I'm quite honoured. So yeah, that's cool. Thank you for dropping in, and I will have to go and have a look up a few. I haven't seen a lot of notifications from you lately, and it's probably because I've just been missing them because I've been too busy. But I'll have to go on and see how that Impala splice is coming along. That one really piqued my interest. I like the way you were doing that. That was very cool. Raymond Cabal. Good night, Monsieur Kiwi. Wish you and the missus a good week. Well, thank you, sir. You have a good night and a good week as well. I'll be back here next Tuesday. But yeah, it's 9:01. It probably is time to sign off. So thank you to all of you. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for all your comments. Let's all keep old timer F7 in our thoughts. He's had a very rough time. So, yeah, hopefully he's going to be all right and he'll keep hanging out with us in the future. I'm guessing I haven't seen him comment for half an hour, so I'm guessing he's stepped out. But, hopefully, he can push on through and hang out with us some more. So, in the meantime, the rest of you, get out there, work on your cars, have some fun, and get out there and drive the wheels off the things. All right, guys. I will see you same Kiwi time, same Kiwi channel next week. See you then. Bye-bye.